Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of The Harvest Season. My name is Cody,
I'm Kevin.
and we're here today to talk about cottagecore game.
Ooh, not wildflowers this time, I
Not,
promise you.
we have Kevin on an episode, and it's not about wildflowers, y'all.
Reset the clock. How many? Yeah, Al's got the little flippy
Yeah.
calendar clock saying X many days since a
X
wildflowers episode.
X many days since Kevin talked. I'm glad you're enjoying it so much. I actually haven't listened to their episodes, but you recently interviewed a voice actor? Question mark.
Yes, the voice for Tara, the main character.
That is amazing.
It
Also,
was so
a
fun.
game
Like,
having like a whole voice acting cast is pretty amazing.
it's pretty amazing. And yeah, Valerie is her name. She was, I mean, yeah, for people who didn't listen, I suggest you go back and listen. Because she was an absolute delight. She's like for people who played the game, she's a lot like Tara, like the character. She's just sweet and bubbly, and that's great.
Hmm.
Yeah. Uh, but anyways, that is last episode. This episode, we are talking
Hmm.
about Roots of Pacha. That's the Stone Dew Valley.
Stone Dew Valley. I mean, I definitely have suggested it to people by calling it Stardew, Stone Age Stardew, I think is the way that I've called it.
Just Stone Stardew. But that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, and in a recent episode we talked about what makes a Stardew clone, and
Yeah.
I do think that this is similar to a Stardew clone, but it has a decent amount that's unique.
Yep.
And I actually really enjoy that, and
Yes.
we will certainly get into that. Before that, we have a very little bit of news. But before that, Kevin, what have you been up to?
For that, transcripts are available on the website as per always. I'm just
You right,
saying
you
that as
right,
always.
you right. I skipped
Way to
right
show
over
notes
that.
and all that. No, that's fine. But anyways, thank you. What have I been up to? A lot of the same as always. May's a busy month for me, so I don't know. I'm just sticking with the usuals. Wildflowers continues to deliver. Roots of Pacha. Hey, I've been playing that game. Surprise. Pokemon Unite is going. It has an Eevee event going on. Umbreon and Leafeon are coming out. That means you can finally have a team of 5 EVs, a full team of EVs in the game, which is just sounds hilarious.
I did. I was laughing the other day because I think I was listening to It's Super Effective, and they were talking about how, the Umbreon and another one got added to it. But
Yeah.
there was like 3 Pokemon added in that update, and it was like Umbreon, Leafeon, and Inteleon.
Yeah, the secret Eevee evolution. I didn't even think about that.
Inteleon's and Eevee confirmed.
Stealth Eevee.
They're all like, it's like they were like, they told an intern, oh, we're having an Eevee event, so add a bunch of the Eons. And someone was like, okay.
I'm just I'm envisioning a Eevee family photo and Inteleon just like taped over a Flareon. It's like that one's fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
Oh,
So that's been
so
fun.
yeah, Unite's been good. They're not actually in the game as of yet. At
Hmm.
least not officially. I think they might be in the beta server or whatever. But it continues to be fun. Marvel Snap is Marvel Snap. Um, Other than that, I did happen to see the Mario movie. Have you seen that?
Demirio. I sure did.
That was a good movie. I liked the movie. I liked when they did the thing.
It sure was a movie.
Well, okay, look. When I talk, look, when I talk about movies, right? I I just by default like if we're talking about this kind of movie, I'm not putting it next to Schindler's List. Like I'm talking, this is dumb, turn your brain off popcorn movie,
Hmm.
right? So like it's has its limitations, but looking at its peers, it's I enjoyed it. Well, Jack Black was good.
Hmm.
That's the main thing. Okay.
That's pretty much all that matters. Though his, not spoiling, but his story, like,
Yeah.
it was not what I expected. But it's so funny because like I was shocked and then I was like, oh, it's Jack Black. So
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. So there's
He can
two.
do whatever.
There's two things I have. Well, one, I agree with you. Yes, like Jack Black, that just played perfectly into Jack Black, and his strengths. But two, like a lot of that does kind of stick with the Mario's, quote unquote script lore, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's goofy and canon
Yeah.
and absurd. But it's fine. It was great. But yeah, so that's all I've been up to, really. What about you, Cody? What have you been up to?
My research. So, I am doing my comprehensive exam next month, and basically what that is you present what you are planning to do for your doctorate to your committee, and you say, "Here, this is what I'm going to do. This is why it's important to do. This is how I would do it. This is why I'm qualified to do it." And then so you basically like build up your final few years, and then they say, "Yeah, looks good," or "Nope, you're not good enough." If you fail your comps, you do get another shot. They give you like suggestions of how to revise it. So it's not like I would just fail outright. And I don't expect to fail. When I met with my committee a few months ago and told them, like I gave them a rundown, they were all like, this is a really good group of projects that you're doing. It looks really good. So I've been working on that, but also, putting stuff out to trap insects, starting my forest insect community surveys, which is super fun. I also started a new job. So hilariously, to no one's surprise, doctoral students are not really paid enough.
Oh, really? I haven't heard.
Yeah, and the department was going to give us a boost to our stipends. However, there was recently a fairly large budget cut across my entire university, and so they're not able to do that anymore. And so I've been finding like alternate revenue sources, and so I started working at a coffee shop. Super fun. But the biggest thing that I've been playing is Roots of Pacha. Not just because of the podcast, but just like it's just genuinely a good time. Like
It
even
really
after
is.
even after we talk about it today and it's quote unquote off my plate, whatever that means, I'm still going to continue to play it.
I am too.
I'm enjoying it. I'm definitely not like I probably should have checked how many hours I've put into this game. And hilariously, I don't think Steam is on this computer is going to show me
lovely.
because of reasons that we will get into.
Because of reasons. One note I want to add, our friend Kelly, the guest host on the podcast every now and then. I also got her into Roots of Pacha, and she's been playing nonstop. She's farther ahead than I am.
It is on.
But it's really good.
If I click on its Steam page, it goes away. It says I'm at like 27 hours, but I don't know how. I think I've played a little bit more than that. I think this. But
wonder why it hasn't updated.
Yeah, so let's just get through the first little tiny bit of news before we jump into that barrel of fish. So our first bit of news is about Ooblets. There is now a plushie. So this is the first ever Ooblets plushie, and you can sign up for it now. And there's going to be a link in the show notes, and this is also at ooblets.com. It looks like it's Shrumbo. So it's a little mushroom dude.
Yep, not a toad. Not to be confused with the movie.
You thought he was a toad?
No.
Okay,
I'm just saying.
like,
Look, he has a similar face. I'm just saying, it's a little mushroom.
Oh, okay.
But Frumbo, man, what a name, Frumbo. It's a cute plushie, I'll say that. It's through Fangamer. Okay, yeah, they do good stuff. Yeah. Click on the link. You can see it through the Ooblets newsletter, probably on the Fangamer site. You can see it. There's a.
Yep.
Is this recent? There's a update to the game.
Yep. Yeah. So I just saw that there's a sneaky second springtime update. So, this was just another update that they have. So it looks like they have some bug fixes. They've added some ways, some places that you can put your Glimmy Globes. There's a new bookshelf and a sideboard that you can just put your Glimmy Globes in. I'm assuming these are just like, they look like little snow globes. They're very cute.
Yeah.
and they've just fixed a couple of other bug fix issues. And the springtime event that is currently going on in the game ends on May 31st. So I think once this podcast goes out, it's like a week. You have a week left. So, but yeah, it's a very cute little plush. I do recall when this came out, some people in our Discord were like, or sorry, Slack, our Slack, were like, this is very cute, but I want this other, this other ooblet. So there
time
is
to get your sitting cutie ooblets,
yeah, pretty much a whole new
your cutie patootie ooblets. That's what they'd call them, something like that.
yeah. So
All those
cute.
names.
I still haven't played it.
I haven't either. But just Shrumbo, like
I made so much room.
ooblets. I know it sounds like the fake names that people come up to kind of, mimic fake game jargon and gobbledygook. But anyways, all that aside, there you go, ooblets people, and get your Crumbo, get your update.
So the next piece of news actually, apparently it came out that this news popped 2 hours after we recorded last week. So do you want to talk about this guy?
Yeah, so normally I try to come up with a witty transition, but no, this news is our transition.
Yeah.
Because it's about this game called Roots of Pacha. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I think I've heard of it, yeah.
Okay, so this is awkward because I enjoy this game. I'm going to give it a lot of praise and talk about why I'm enjoying it. And you, dear listener, you may think, oh, maybe I do want to try it. And mosey on down to the Steam page, and there's no Roots of Pacha there. You might see.
Roots of Pacha's not on Steam anymore.
Oh boy. Okay. So yeah, that's the I guess the main news that it's been delisted. The reasons why is it's a little spicy drama on this podcast.
Yeah, there's legit drama.
Yeah. So in short,
get your popcorn, kids.
Yeah. At the core of it, there is a dispute between the developer and the publisher, a contract dispute. First, the developer, was it Dry Dock Studios? Is that the one for this? Or am I thinking
Soda Den?
Yeah, Dry Dock is Wildflowers. Okay.
Switch your brain. We're not talking about Wildflowers anymore. I'm pretty sure this is Soda Den.
Yes, it is Soda Den. I tried digging for details. There aren't many, right? So there's any speculation. It's speculation. There's the main source of information are 2 tweets. One from Soda Den on the official Roots of Pacha Twitter account. They are trying to resolve the issue with Creativo, the publisher company. They have a dispute. To use their quote, they've been engaged in a dispute with Creativo over the rights to Roots of Pacha. There's no details given if it's monetary, IP, or whatever. But because of this, Soda Den says they weren't able to resolve the issues yet. So Creativo went to Valve and authorized them to remove Roots of Pacha from Steam without Soda Den's knowledge or consent. So that's mostly the info from them. They also say they are still working on the game, and they are hoping to actually introduce a roadmap with updates for next month. Now, Creativo responded, quote unquote, more or less, with another tweet soon after, actually in the same Twitter thread. Ooh, that's dramatic.
Yeah, they literally Creativo didn't do their own post. I mean, it was their own post, but they did it as a reply to the Roots of Pacha Soda Den team. Yep. And then they quote tweeted themselves or retweeted themselves or whatever. But it's basically just like a reply.
Yeah. And so from their perspective, they've been collaborating with Soda Den for 3 years. And the game launched on April 25th up to that point. And then on April 27th, just 2 days after the release, they received a message from the Soda Den people. And they were again, I'm going to use their quote here, informing us they were claiming to unilaterally rescind the contract we had worked under for 3 years, treating it as void.
Mm-hmm.
They say that disregards their work and agreed upon revenue sharing terms. And then shortly after, Sodaden removed Creativo's access to the Steam page. And that's when supposedly they reached out to Valve to remove the game from Steam. They both, and then yada
Well, and
yada, generic stuff.
it says
Yeah,
per Valve policy, if there is a dispute between parties, they remove the page until the dispute is resolved.
true,
So
true. But somebody had to let them know, right?
yeah, so I don't know if it was, I wonder if it was something like the Creativo people reached out to Valve, like the Steam IT, and was like, hey, our password's not working anymore, or something like that. And then Valve
Uh
was like, oh, shenanigans.
huh.
So,
Possibly.
yeah, so there's really, oh, sorry, continue what you're,
No, just yeah. I mean, right. This is okay. So that's roughly the facts. These two
mhm,
tweets. Here we're getting to speculation territory. You might be right. It could have been Valve who took notice. It could have been Creativo tipping them off. I don't know. Um, uh, this is a messy issue, right? Because so one thing I looked up, trying to get through the details I could, not necessarily maybe this specific thing, but at least some of the context and whatnot. Soda Den appears to be very small. Roots of
mhm,
Pacha is their first and only game, from what I understand. It was started by a pair of brothers. I don't know how big the team is currently. And generally speaking, I try to side with little developers like that, right?
mhm,
Um, Maybe they didn't understand the contract. Maybe they were just unhappy with it. I don't know, but oh, the way Creativo has framed it, how Soda didn't approach the issue of just saying we're not, paraphrasing here in my own words, that the tone it
mhm.
came across like we're just not gonna agree to the contract. It's no. That
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the best move. That's a bold move. Um,
Yeah.
I don't, and again, I don't know, obviously without the specifics, what the arguments about dispute, whatever. I don't know who's in the right here. Could be blamed both sides. Creativo could be a little unfair. I don't know. On that note, actually, there was a Reddit thread regarding this issue. Uh, there's back and forth. Some people say Creativo has had unfair contracts in the past, and then there's
Mm.
been words from other developers who worked from Creativo that have said no, it's actually fine. That this is a lot of standard stuff.
Mhm.
Again, no one knows the actual specifics to the Roots of Pacha Sodaden case.
Yeah.
Um, and it's yeah, so it's unclear, uncertain. Um, and when we're gonna get it back,
Mhm.
if question mark, I imagine as publisher, again, this is speculation. I'm no expert in this, but from what I have read and heard, they might have rights to get another developer if need be to finish the game or stuff they were planning. I don't 100% know. Again,
Mhm.
that's kind of amateur investigating. All right, Cody, I think I've given the gist. What's your thoughts? Give me the skinny.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's just not a lot of information here. I think that both of the teams are handling it well, like they posted their respective statements with the details that they wanted to provide, and they are, going to try and resolve the issue. Roots of Pacha folks said that they're going to continue to work on it, while even though it's not currently up on Steam anymore. Though, if you've already purchased it on Steam, you can play it, purchased it and downloaded it. So even, after this happened on May 13th. I've still played the game multiple times
Yep,
since then,
I
and I've
have as
not
well.
had any issues. I think it might limit our ability. Like, I don't know if they do any bugs or any patch fixes or anything. Like, I don't know if they can push those while this is happening, or if it's just that the page went down and no one can purchase it
Yeah.
outright anymore. Um, But I mean, I I can see both sides, and I just hope that it gets resolved in a way that both parties feel okay. You know, like that's no one's gonna get a raw deal or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all I
Yeah. I
have
mean,
about it.
ultimately, that's all we can do, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're just going off two tweets. We don't know. We just want I just want more Roots of Pacha.
It will be interesting. So
Um.
Creativo is also the not the developer, but the publisher of um Above Snakes.
Ooh. Yeah. No,
So
Creativo has a good number of titles on their
mhm.
publishing house.
So it'll be really
Um.
interesting. So because Above Snakes is coming out in about a week, about 9 days, 6 days, whatever. Some I don't remember. Words are hard. On the 25th of May. And so since that's coming out, we'll see if there's a similar issue and if it's something that might be Creativo based or if it's something that was just a miscommunication between a developer and a publisher.
Yeah. I'm just imagining we do an Above Snakes episode and the news drops right before it too. Um. But no.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, yeah, hope it gets resolved soon. Like the weirdest awkward part is that well, and unless things have been resolved by the time this episode actually drops,
Mhm.
that people can't get it, right? Like that sucks
Yeah.
because I really recommend this game.
Yeah, I've been repping it to people and saying how great it is and telling people like customers come up and I tell them that I'm playing it and recommend it and stuff and I can say definitely keep your eye out for when it's
Yeah.
available again. I'll definitely like when the issue is resolved and it's back up on the Steam page, I'll retweet it. I'm sure the podcast will as well. So yeah, if we recommend it and you're not and it's not available yet, just keep an eye out and we'll let you
Yeah.
know when it is available for sure.
Yeah. Um that all that, that unfun intro. Let's get into the game. Let's talk
Yeah.
about what is fun, the game.
Yeah.
Um okay, so I think it's been clear, but let's say it clearly. What's your overall opinion on the game?
Yeah, my overall opinion is very positive.
Yeah.
I think there's parts of the game that are less developed or less like especially so I will say like the romance side of it.
Uh-huh.
Um I don't really see a benefit to getting to know people.
Yeah.
I don't really see I mean I go and then it's also kind of difficult to know what they're going to like.
Yeah.
So that part is, in my opinion, a little weak. But I'm just also not the type of human that normally goes around and talks to everybody. So this was
Sure.
my issue in Stardew as well. As I just went for like a rando character that I was like, ooh, an emo boy. That narrows it down to exactly who I went for. And then the next time I went, ooh, the artist lady. um. So yeah, that was a little weaker, but other than that, I mean, it's an amazing game.
Yeah.
I'm having a really good time playing it. It's got, I haven't been really bored yet. I'm still trying to clear out parts of the map, and I guess like as you are playing, more other parts of the map become available to you. Like even past after you've unlocked the 4 directions, like some of those areas become bigger as well. So that's really cool. That hasn't happened for me yet, but yeah, so that's my gist. What about you? What are you, obviously you
Um.
recommend it, but
Yeah, I do. Right. Like It's a game I think I enjoy more as I play it more. Because my first like my knee jerk reaction day one, boy, that's a Stardew Valley. My younger brother Calvin, I was like
Mhm.
playing and he walked by and said, "Oh, are you playing Stardew?"
It
No,
has
yeah.
the vibe.
Um, because well, yeah. But that said, I don't know if it learns the lessons, but it does it takes the good things from Stardew. It does well with the template, and
Mm.
the things it does on its own or differently are fun and nice. And it you the progression I think in the game is really good overall. It's smooth and feels good.
Hmm.
And yeah, and as I get more things, I see more things, I enjoy it more and more.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so let's get into the little some of these specifics.
Hmm.
Let's start with the farming.
Yeah.
True to our roots here. True to our roots of Pacha. Okay, so the farming that well, you if you played Stardew Valley, then you know how to farm in this game.
Yep.
Um, the biggest difference, and which I find interesting, right? So this being the Stone Age, we're literally inventing like everything, right?
Hmm.
So that's there's no store, there's no one who's done all this stuff, right? There's no seed shop at first. You have to go and gather crops. You have to go
Yeah.
find them in the wild. Um,
I will
which I
say
think is
the
cool.
story of it is that your group of people came to this area and were um gosh, how would you say this? The spirits like said to stay in this area. Like there was
Yep.
a reason they were like this is where we should be. So they
Yep.
traveled over, you know, it showed like a lot of different like there was like a desert and stuff like that when you first like start up the game. It shows that you guys travel pretty far, and then you get to this area and your shaman, I think it is how he refers to himself. He says, "This is it. This is where we're gonna stop, and this is where we're gonna settle." And so you're starting from the ground up, like you,
Literally.
literally, like you all have, you know, living structures, and
Yep.
you
Your huts
actually,
are there.
yeah, your huts are there, and you pretty much start out living in someone else's living structure.
Your adoptive grandparents? Question
Yeah,
mark.
yes, I think that is the situation. Is
Yeah.
your parents passed away when you were younger, and so these people took you in as your like adoptive grandparents, and so you live with them. But then when you want an animal companion, they're like your grandma's allergic, so you got to get your own place. And so you can get your own place. But basically, you are building from the ground up. And the thing that I love about this game so much is that that's so different, in my opinion, from other games, other games that I've played, is that even if you did nothing, like you could literally wake up and go back to sleep immediately. The community still continues growing and building,
Yeah.
like they do their own stuff, and you kind of are just a part of it, but like it's not,
Yes.
even though they're when you first start out, you're only in one area, and you can see that there are definitely clearly like you're blocked from four other areas. You don't do anything. There's no like you need to build 400, give 400 wood to dude man to have him
Well,
do. They just
sometimes, but
Sometimes,
but
but for the most part, no. I mean, for the most part,
yeah.
they just do it themselves, and then they're just like,
Yeah.
we opened this pathway, and then other
Yep.
people came through, and or we did this thing, and now you can. Gosh, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think the sundial. Like we built a
Yeah.
sundial, and now you can know how time works. It's just,
Yeah.
stuff like that, and it's stuff that you don't have to do anything. The
Yeah.
game will do that by itself, and I love that.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, yeah, you bring up a good point that I wanted to make that I almost forgot about, right? Like you're saying, right? It's very much the clan. The whole focus is the
yeah,
clan.
yeah,
Right? You're not a newcomer to a town. You're part of this group already.
hmm,
I mean, you, the player, are meeting everyone for the first time, so they give you a little info box. But you, the character, know everyone already.
hmm,
Um, and that's really different from pretty much every other cottagecore game.
hmm.
Um, and everyone already has their roles. Here's
Yep.
the artist, here's the builder, the tool person, whatever.
Yep.
And they all do their parts. Of course, your role is the farmer,
Yeah.
right? So that's why you have to go around finding wild crops and Stardew
Hmm.
farming them and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. So
Um,
each season has different crops that
yes.
um, different wild like crops that are growing, and when you go to these crops and find them, so say you find the tomatoes, you're not harvesting tomatoes, you're harvesting the seed. And so this is really cool because you basically get all the seeds you ever need. You just have to know where the plant is growing.
Yep.
Um,
A
and
day,
it's
a certain amount respawn every day or two or whatever.
so that way, like, so for me, for example, I've made little plots of 6 of each plant. So
Yeah.
I just need 6 seeds to get going, and so
Yep.
I'll start 3 of them, and the next day I'll go check that plant again, and oh, that 2 more of them are I can collect seed from 2 more of them, and then I just keep doing that, and then keep making sure, like, just run around the map and make sure that my seed bag, I think is what it's called, seed
Yeah.
bag is full.
Yeah.
So.
There's two things I like. Well, it's a double-edged sword in a sense,
Hmm.
because on the one hand, it encourages you to actually go out and explore the map,
Hmm.
which I think is great. And you become familiar with all the spots and stuff. It's a very natural way of doing that, and it's great. Um, the Oh, and one thing, like as you farm, like your crops quote unquote improve, and there's a little
Hmm.
your adopted grandpa, like he starts farming the seeds, so you can start
Hmm.
buying them. I'll explain that in a second. It's a little
Hmm.
weird. Um, but so you can there's other ways you can do it. But primarily I think at least I've been just out and foraging and gathering the seeds just because it's so it just fits. It works so well.
Hmm.
Um, the only downside to this is if you don't scrape, sometimes you can miss crops. I found corn like on the last day of fall.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Um, I think there's one crop I missed. I'm at the end of the year, so I've like been through all the seasons and whatnot. And there's still one crop I missed, but
I bet I know what
it,
it is. It's probably did you find the chilies?
no, yeah, I found the chilies.
Oh.
I think it's wheat. Or no, I have
Oh,
buckwheat. I don't
okay.
know. I have to double check. No, I found I found those pretty late. I will say that. I think I found them late. But
That
I
was
did
the
find the
last one. I thought I had all of the fall crops, and then you can look at the seed bag like in the inventory section, and it shows you like empty, like not filled in spaces for all of the like possible crops there are. And I saw one that had the fall sign next to it, and I was like, "Who is that?" Like I haven't seen that. So I went searching for it, and I ended up finding it. So.
Yeah. And and the corn is funny because I was able to get some from the trading guy. He had corn and I got some,
Yeah.
but I could never find it. I thought it's
Yeah.
a year 2 crop or something.
No.
Um while we're at it, I didn't I you can grow fruit trees. I was because that's like a achievement thing, or it's on your to-do list kind of learn how to grow fruit trees. I didn't realize you just buy them. I couldn't figure out how to buy the
Yeah, you don't, when you harvest from fruit trees in the wild, you don't get
seeds. You should get the
seed.
fruit.
You
Yeah.
just get the fruit.
Oh, lessons learned.
Gotta
Lessons
get them
learned.
from your grandpa.
Yeah, but all that. I think this is a good example though, because even though I call these downsides, it doesn't feel unfair.
Hmm.
Like everything still works. It doesn't feel like necessarily from lack of clarity, just needing to explore a little more because this game's very much about exploring.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Animals. Well, that's again a lot of your staples, but the only difference is again, there's no rancher. You're not buying your animals. You have to go out
Hmm.
into the wild and tame them yourself.
Hmm.
Um, you can get there's actually a good variety of Stone Age-esque animals. There's
Yeah.
llamas and boars and buffalo and uh, ostriches and all sorts. I don't even remember. You can
Mammoth.
shear some for wool. You can milk your goats, rabbits. Yeah, you can get. There's some that are just for pets, right? Like rabbits.
Oh,
I have a
I
pet.
said mammoth.
Oh, mammoth. Yes, yeah, that even better. Unfortunately, you can only get the baby mammoths. But I have a pet baby mammoth. I want to
Oh,
get a
and
big
it just
one, but
never grows up.
No, no, they don't let it.
Not
I
gonna
want a
let that
big
in your
one.
in
I
your
want a
clan.
big one. They
They
look so
are
nice.
huge.
What do you have a pet?
Yeah, so I had a rabbit, and I grew my, or not grew, I don't companioned. I don't know what the verb is that I'm looking for here, but I had a rabbit as my companion for until it was like fully loved me, like all of the hearts. And then I kicked it to the curb, and now
That's right.
now I have a lion.
Yeah, now we're talking.
But
Yeah. Um, but well, one of my favorite things though is because you don't, again, you're not buying them, you just,
mhm.
and they're available year round, I'm pretty sure. You can just start right away collecting eggs and wool or whatever. Well,
Yep.
progress, you have to progress to develop the tools or whatever, but pretty much from the right off the bat, you can start doing all your animal stuff,
Yeah.
including a mount. Um, and there are lots of different animals you can ride, which is nice. So I think it's a great little personal touch. What are you riding, Cody?
I'm riding an ibex. I have a white, I think it's called a cookies and cream ibex. So it's white with like black spots on it. It's the only one that I've tamed that has base speed of two arrows.
Oh,
Everything else only has one. So I wanted the
dang, that's
zoomy
cool.
zooms.
Oh, I didn't even realize they could have different speeds. Dang, I need to look into that.
Yeah, yeah. So if you inspect any animal that you have, it'll show you like how much it likes you, and then some of the like all of the ones that you could possibly ride. It shows their production value. So how often they produce or how much they produce, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it also has like whether or not they're reproducible, and then the like speed stat. So it says like
That's
what the
cool.
speed is.
Oh gosh, I need to
And
look into that.
I think there's 4 arrows is the max speed. And what you basically
Dang.
do is I think you actually have to like breed them together. So you have to breed
Sure. You
like
have to breed the good ones. That
the
makes
good
sense. Yeah.
ones together and then but I
Yeah.
haven't done
I haven't
hilariously
done any breeding.
no, hilariously the animals that I have that I've so I have 2 ibex and 2 boars and I got females on all.
That's funny.
I
That
just
is
got all
funny.
female. And so I have to kick 2 of them out and
Um,
find some
that's cool.
boys. But
Oh,
what are you riding?
I'm riding a boar. So I
Wow.
saw that boar and was like, yeah, I'm gonna ride that. Because that's not your usual farm animal.
Mm.
Um, the buffalo is pretty cool though.
Like
Um,
I want an alpaca. I want to ride an alpaca. They're cute.
yeah, that
They don't call them alpacas. They call them like guanaros or guanacos or something like
something
that.
like that.
Uh, which is another type of guanaco. Um, uh, which is pretty much a llama,
Yeah, yeah.
South America.
But yeah, so I think the animal taming is well done. The crop gathering, all the farming mechanics, I think are well done.
Yep.
Just the base Stardew, but with the nice Stone Age twist works really well here.
Yeah.
Um, so let's talk about another unique mechanic here, the prosperity mechanic.
Mhm.
As Al said, this game has a GDP, which I didn't think about it, but yeah, no, that's what it is.
That is what it is.
Yeah. So there is a collection basket, and pretty much from the start of the game, they're tasked with, okay, here's our collection basket. We all put stuff in here to help the clan grow, and there's two quote unquote currencies. There is contribution, which is your individual contribution, and that is more or less money that you can spend with some of the other people to trade things and whatnot. And just like Stardew or any other cottagecore game, different, fish will sell whatever, different prices and whatnot. The nice thing is it never closes, right? It's not a shop. You don't like, oh darn, it's 5 o'clock and can't sell this anymore. No, you just
Yep.
get it at the end of the day, all your money.
Yep.
And then the next or the other currency or whatever measure is called prosperity. Now, this is the sum total of everyone's contributions, right? So
Mhm.
you can bump it up, but as you were saying earlier, Cody, even if you don't contribute anything, you can not contribute anything for a week and nobody cares or says anything. At least, well,
Mhm.
I say that I haven't tried that far,
I haven't tried
but
any, but yeah.
I don't know if anyone will say that. But
I don't know.
regardless, the prosperity goes up by itself of
Mhm.
X amount of time. I think the more you contribute, it does encourage the growth of it. That's just a loose observation. I have no hard data
Mhm.
or confirmation on that. But what's nice about the prosperity, it's so you reach benchmark numbers. Like every day at the end of the day, you say, okay, here's the clan's next goal. We're gonna build I don't know, an art station. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
build. Some of them are just cosmetic. Like
A
here's a
hammock
fishing spot.
is what
The
mine are
hammock.
going for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so again, you can kind of speed it up by contributing a whole bunch, or just wait it out, and eventually they'll start working on it. And I think it's really cool because it ties. I think the game's strength is in the setting, right? Like that's the premise, and it's really does it well because you really feel that sense of progression of going from nothing and okay, we're all working together, we're all contributing, and we're all building up these little things. And before you know it, your three-hut village starts to feel like an actual village with different buildings and
Yeah.
nice little touches and stuff like that. Um, I
I
really like it.
I love a lot of the little things that they do too because so one of them there's a one of the adults, I'm not going to remember her name. One of the
You
adults is
can't
like
remember any names in this game.
I remember so I remember Jizu. She is the clother, so she makes
Yeah,
clothing.
I joke, but
Um but
well, I'll get to that in a bit.
they all have really weird names. But yeah, we talk about that later. But the one who's like the wolf tamer or wolf, I don't even
Wolfa?
really
Wolf mom?
wolf mom.
Wolf mom.
So
You can tell because
she
she has a wolf skin on.
yeah, she has a wolf hat. But then she also has three wolves that just like live with her. And at one point she's like one of the goals is my wolves want a pond to like
Yeah,
play in. so,
yeah.
so you build the group is like, yep, we're gonna build a pond for the wolves, and it's just like so cute. I just love little things like that, like
It's great.
learning about that, and then like you said, the
Art
art
station.
station, one of the
Yeah,
artist ladies like comes to you and is like, I would really like to do this, and so you help out and they build it,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it's really nice, and it's just like I've it didn't until I played this game and I saw the game kind of do its own thing autonomously, like even if you're doing nothing. Never realized that games don't normally have that, like game like think of Animal Crossing. If you weren't out there digging, like making the place beautiful or catching things and building the museum, no one else is gonna do it.
Yup,
Like,
yup.
if you don't go out and do it, the museum's just gonna be dead forever. There
Yeah.
are all of these other animals that could theoretically contribute. They don't. And so it was really cool to have this mechanic in the game of, full contributions.
Yeah, Stardew Valley. No character can experience growth until you talk to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
Their
my
lives will
gosh.
continue to be sad
And static
and static until you
and
step in. And
yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, no. Yeah, and I totally agree with you. And I think again it adds to that feeling of this is a game about the clan, not about you per se. Um,
Yep.
and it's really enjoyable, in my opinion. Like even everyone even gathers around. Like there's a big like community hut. They go up to Hearth or whatever. Everyone gets there on the rainy days and just hangs out. Oh, I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
Um, okay, let's see here. So I wrote down a list. I don't know if this is the best order. But let's talk about
I think the next thing on the list is a good one, the mini
okay.
games.
Yeah. So, like any other cottage core, there's little mechanics, right? The mechanic, right? How did your game approach that?
Yeah.
And this game actually does little just tiny micro mini games.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know about you, Cody, but I thought these were actually kind of unique and
Yeah.
fun might be a little bit stretched. Again, they're tiny little things, but it's more engaging to me than just trying to push A at the right time or whatever. So
I tell you what, the fishing mini game in this game did not want me to make me want to throw something across the room. Like Stardew.
oh my yes, yes,
There are
yes.
times in Stardew's fishing that I am just like,
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
spitefully just want to get this fish, but then it escapes, and then you're like, well, it's gone forever.
oh my gosh, and you wasted so much time.
Yeah, and you waste
Oh,
so much time. I'm pretty sure when you're fishing in this game, it pauses.
I I know during most of the mini games, I don't know about fishing,
Okay.
but regardless.
So yeah, explain
So
it.
yeah, so how it works is so pretty much all the mini games, a big circle will appear, your mini game circle on the screen, right? And for the fishing one, this circle, well, it looks like a pond, and you see the
Mhm.
fish shadows, and you actually have to move your cursor to kind of follow the fish, like as it's swimming. It's not moving fast. You're just kind of trying to follow it, and there's a little bar that goes up, right?
Mhm.
And once the bar fills up, you click the button and you catch it. There'll be times when like the fish is noticing you and you have to back off or whatever. And like they're trying to evoke this feeling of like Stone Age fishing where they don't have fishing
Mhm.
rods, so they're like trying to stalk the fish in the water.
Yeah, like spear
And
fishing. Like
yes, thank you.
like
Yes,
you have your
that's it.
spear overhead and you're following the fish and you have to kind of like understand the fishes how the fish moves before you can and like what it's going to do before you can, strike. So, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I like that mini game a lot. I mean, like not just in the terms of fishing mini games, like
Yeah.
oh my, it's so nice. It's not super reaction heavy, not whatever on Earth Stardew tried to do. Oh gosh, it's so nice. But yeah, let's see here. So that's the fishing mini game, but there's a few other mini games.
Mhm.
The animal one, for instance, they call it tuning in the
Mhm.
game. And to tame the animals, you have to serenade them with music, basically. Um, and the mini game is just it's a simple rhythm game where there's rings and they're heading towards the middle and you push, you time like Guitar Hero like.
Mhm.
Um, and you just match the beat or whatever. It's not super hard. It's enjoyable. The melodies are sweet. And you have to do it a few times to get the animals to like you. But I thought that was a fun little way of doing it.
Yeah.
Um, there are a handful of other mini games throughout the whole game because there's festivals and
Yeah.
celebrations, right? And there's mini games. There's a tug of war. There's um, winter. There's a snowball fight, for
Oh my
instance.
gosh. I haven't gotten to winter yet. I guess we should have
Uh,
probably mentioned where we were at.
oh yeah, sorry.
I haven't
But
gotten
yeah,
there yet.
yeah, there's a snowball fight, and they
That's
all had
awesome.
their little rules and controls and whatnot. But it's all in the similar vein. I will say though, there are some where it is actually just Guitar Hero with the four lines and hitting the arrows at the right place and time.
Where
Um,
where is that?
I've done it most. I'm trying to think. I know a lot of the like if you do the story, talk to people and do their stories, some of the musicians, they want to play some music
Oh,
with you. I want to say there's another celebration that does it, but I can't remember.
okay.
But it's actually just Guitar Hero. It,
That's
it, it
awesome.
was it was just amusing to see more than anything. Um, okay. There are two more that I forgot to write here on
Okay.
the list. Uh,
Oh yeah.
uh,
I will say the like ones at the festivals, um I really enjoyed like I actually at one of the festivals I can't remember all we were supposed to be doing. One of them was like a dart throwing or something and then there
yeah,
was
the
the tug
spear
of war.
throwing.
Yeah. So I genuinely enjoyed sometimes in Stardew, I'd get to a festival. I'm like, I'm gonna skip this game. I hate this game. I'm gonna skip
Yeah.
this, but like, I'll do this other one. I like specifically at one point talked to someone and they were like, "Oh, do you want to start the end? Like, this is gonna end the festival or whatever." And I was like, "Nope, nope, I'm not ready yet." I went back.
Yeah.
They're really ingenuitive and they're really fun and they're true
Yes.
to the story. So
Yeah, they feel like they're representing the activity well.
yeah,
There's a game they call Bones. It's just jacks. You bounce the
yeah,
ball and pick up all the things.
yep.
Um, it's yeah. I don't think I can't think of one that I disliked. Right?
Yeah.
Again, they're all micro mini. It's not like I'm dedicating a whole game to this or whatever. But I've enjoyed them all.
Bones
Um,
gets frustrating when there's a lot because you can only go
you
so
get a
fast.
lot. It's
But
like
yeah,
real jacks.
yeah,
Um, okay, probably the biggest one because you do it every other week, racing. You can actually race your mount with the other
yeah,
villagers. Um, that one, I don't think they explain the controls well,
yeah.
when you first start. Like I talked to Kelly, same thing. She screwed it up first time. I did too.
Hmm.
They need to fix that, but basically it auto moves or I don't
Yep.
remember, but you're dodging. yeah, you're going left to right, you're going up and down to dodge things, and you have a sprint button that you have to hold, not press to
Yep.
activate it. Um, but it's pretty fun. It's actually somewhat challenging because the
Yeah.
the mount can move pretty dang fast, and some of the courses have a lot of obstacles and whatnot. But it's a fun little distraction and totally optional, pretty much.
Yeah.
If you do win most of the mini games, you get rewards of some kind.
Yeah.
So
I,
that's fun.
I got
Um,
spaghetti one time. I won.
yeah, there you go. So yeah, I really like the racing. And then just one last little one. It's not even really a game, but there's a cave painting festival, and you actually MS like paint whatever
Yeah.
you want on the walls. I loved it.
I was gonna say you probably loved it because of your
I did.
spriter background. Like
Yeah,
you love
yeah,
doing
I
sprite
did.
sprite stuff. I couldn't figure out what the heck to do, and so I made this derpy little design, and I just put it on. I was like, screw it. Like I'm not an artistic human. I'm not a creative human. So that wasn't for me. But I totally can imagine you just having a blast with it.
There's like multiple walls. I went to every single one of
Yeah, I just went to
them.
one wall, threw on a little thing, and then was like, "Okay, I'm done."
I had, I did like a big tree, a sunflower, a mammoth. I
Oh.
had, oh, but yeah. So all in all, like, good job to Roots of Pacha for making these
Hmm.
mini games fun and enjoyable. But leaping off cave painting, let's talk about the caves.
Hmm.
Because every cottage core Stardew like has its version of the mines.
Hmm.
And this one was interesting because there's no combat.
Mm-mm.
Which is funny because you'd expect more combat in the game where you have spears and
Yeah.
you're trying fighting to survive. But yeah, it said it's very much quote unquote puzzle based. Some of them are puzzles. Most of the time you're just smashing rocks. You have to smash enough rocks to open a door.
Yeah,
What
what
are
did
your thoughts
they
on the caves?
I'm trying to remember how they like said it. They say that um you need to prove to the spirits that you're
Yeah.
strong enough to advance. And so you
Yeah,
basically just I mean,
test
I
of
guess that's kind of
strength.
like Stardew, right? Like
Yeah.
you have to break a bunch of rocks and then eventually you
Yeah.
like find the hole that goes down.
Yeah.
Same thing. You just break enough rocks and then the opening will happen. There every now and then there's one that you have to, use your axe to like cut your way into it.
Yeah.
Um, and you get resources. First you just get stone and then you can find flint and then you get obsidian. And I think the next one you get is bronze, but I haven't found it yet.
Yeah.
Um, and then as you're progressing through, there are these like totems that you put offerings down to. And as you're going through, there are like little cave painting things that kind of tell you what the totem might want. Um, and so like one of them is an owl totem, and I think it just wants fish. And so when you give it fish, it like so you bring like a couple fish to the totem, and then you get the power of the owl. And so then there are these little owl stations and you can use those to become an owl and like fly to another area, to a new area. So far I've found the horse totem, but I have not been able to figure like I had to Google
Hmm.
what it wanted. Because based on the cave painting thing, I was like, I think I'm doing this right. I don't know what's going on, but I Googled it and I know what I need to do now. And then I've also found a monkey spot on the floor, but I have not found the monkey totem yet. So, but it's there's these cute little like fun puzzles. Sometimes it's really dark and you have to pull out your torch.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a maze in the dark,
yeah,
basically.
it becomes a maze and you have to kind of figure out where you're going. What do you think of the puzzles?
I like them generally, right? So my issue with Stardew Combat is that's not its focus, so it's always pretty simplistic. And if I get combat in a game, I'd like a little more. Maybe that's like
Hmm.
my best way of putting it, right? I don't always like the very simplistic combat that you get in these mines or whatever. So I thought this was a fun change of pace. I have actually completed the caves except for the horse totem.
Okay.
Um, but I think some of the puzzles towards the end do get genuinely challenging.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the last one. The totem powers are pretty situational, except the last one. The last one actually is very interesting.
Okay.
I found that interesting. Um, but I all in all, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one thing I liked is the aesthetic of the caves
Yeah.
because the deeper you go, it changes. You get into a jungle area and then like another area. Um, I like the design of the caves. I like spending time in there. Oh, and one of the biggest differences. Well, I guess Stardew technically has it, but there's quick travel, right? Because
Yeah.
these caves, it's not vertical going down every floor. It's all one giant network of caves all on one level.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have a map and shows you the rooms, and there's certain quick travel points that you unlock. Um, and it's really cool to find those and then just you don't have to go through the whole cave again. You can just warp to this point and do whatever.
I've
um
never actually looked at the map in the game.
oh, oh no.
I should probably do that.
In the it would help in the caves. It shows you where the next door is gonna be.
Yeah, because I just have been looking, because so in the first area, all of the doors have this like little pedestal next to them. And so I
Yeah,
was always just looking for that. And then
well, sure, yeah,
that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely some rooms that have multiple doors. And
yeah,
so if you don't have a look at the map, oh, it's so funny. Didn't
that's
Al
funny.
just do that in a game too? He didn't
I'm sure he did.
I don't
That
think.
sounds like
I think he
I
didn't
don't
open
know.
a map. Like, didn't know something had a map. I think it was a game that he did with Bev, and they told him that
Coral Island. It was Coral
it
Island.
was Coral. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it was
I
in under
remember.
the
Yeah,
ocean.
yeah, the ocean thing.
Yeah, but luckily it didn't. Like, I didn't even think about it. Like, I'm pretty navigational. Like, I'm good with that, so it didn't bother me.
Yeah, no, it's not hard or complex, but it's just nice to see.
Yeah,
So yeah, that is the caves. I don't think much else to add to that. As you said, you get your resources from there as usual
yeah.
to advance stuff throughout. So you do have to do them a little to upgrade stuff.
So I guess the one thing that we could say really quick here, is that the caves are in the forest. So there's the basic area where your clan lives, and like where
Mhm.
the clan the your like houses are and stuff. And then there's the forest, the savanna, the beach, and the jungle.
Yeah, let's talk
And
about that. This is good. Yeah.
yeah. And so the jungle doesn't, for me right now, it doesn't really have much. It just has, I mean, I guess sometimes it has some seeds. But right now it just has the pyramid, which is kind of the community center
Yep.
of this game. So it's kind of where you have these like overarching achievements that you're trying to get. And every time you complete one, you can go and it adds to the pyramid, and you get some type of piece of jewelry that you can then use, and it gives you some type of buff. Like one of them that I
Yeah.
just got, it was like the ring of the buzz or something like that, and it literally gives you like more honey. And
Huh.
I was
That's
just
good.
like,
That's cool.
what?
Of course.
um so that's the jungle. The savannah is kind of, I mean, it's a savannah, so that's where the
It's the
mammoths are.
biggest area.
It is a gigantic area, and a lot of it is just wheat,
Weeds, fall
grasslands.
grass,
It's
fall
grasslands.
grass. It is,
Um,
but you got to scrape those sides to find those resources.
mhm.
Find that corn. Find that chili. I want to note both corn and chili were in the savannah.
Yep, because it's big.
It's big.
Um,
Most of the animals I think are there too.
yeah, there's the ostriches, the guanacos, the mammoths, the buffalo, and the
Lions.
lions.
Yeah.
Um, the forest has the wolves, the boars, the bunnies, and the ibex. And that area definitely has more to it than I can go to. I think there's like going to be more to it eventually. But it's pretty straightforward. I mean, it's just a forest
Yeah.
next to a river.
Yeah. Um, there's also the beach south of
Mhm.
your village. It's just a beach. There's that one's kind of barren.
Yeah, it doesn't
Um,
have any animals per se, but it
it
has
has like one or two crops per
yeah,
season, maybe.
has like it has the
Um,
prickly pear, the sea well, seaweed's not a crop, seaweed's just gatherable, but
yeah,
the prickly pear and the what's the other one? Kale.
kale. Yeah,
Sea
sea
kale
kale.
is what it's called.
Yeah. There is one thing to note though, and that I think that's where the beach probably is best. Every location has different uh fishing spots and fish you can fish up. So and depending on the seasons and all that stuff. So yeah, the beach is good for fishing. Right, and just he gets another use. Well, I won't talk about that one. I think it's more late game. But anyways, but yeah, so the setting,
Mhm.
I think it's smaller than your average. It's smaller than Stardew for sure, right? Like I'd
Yeah.
say comparable to maybe the base Stardew without the island and all the other stuff that came out later.
Yeah.
And because of the crops you have to go out and gather it, you learn it pretty well.
Yeah.
I think the map works overall.
I really like it. Yeah. I think it's nice. And there's like all of the gatherables that you can, sorry, that's my cat food.
It's
All
okay.
the
Yeah, each
gather.
location has their own gatherables pretty
Mm-hmm.
much.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, last but certainly not least, but actually least in this game.
Kind of. It hurts. It
A
hurts so
little
bad.
bit is the character.
Oh, okay.
I actually
Oh,
wonder if there's a wiki.
there is a wiki. I've seen it. So there's two. How do I? I'm just gonna be upfront. The characters are pretty are pretty boring in this one.
Yeah.
It's it's tough because they're not awful,
Yeah.
but they just don't stand out from each other that much. Everyone's pretty
Yeah.
cordial and polite and friendly, right? Like, yeah, they say, okay, here's the music person, here's
Mm.
the whatever person, and so you learn and you talk to them, you learn about them. Some of them have actually decent backstories if you get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Jag, the fire guy. Um, he has a crazy backstory actually. Um, but it doesn't help that because of the setting they gave them kind of fictional Stone Age names that are kind of impossible to remember.
Yeah.
Um, like there's Vok and Jag and Garrick
So I have
and
it
then you
up
have
right. I have it up now. There's Era, Frere, Garrick, Ebon, Eloy, Gelrod, Juck, Mana, Crack, Took, Val. Like those are the types of names
yep,
that you
and then you
have.
have Ron, who's just like who feels like a, and Ron's thing is making brewskis, so he just
And
uh,
he's got like a really long
beard.
stash
Yeah, stash of beard.
beard.
So he feels like a regular character in this game.
It
Good old Ron.
looks like he'd fit in right in the South.
Yep. He looks like he belongs in the bar in Stardew. But anyways, so the overall point, right? Like kind of like the characters, but they need a little more meat on those bones,
Hmm.
character writing wise, right? I think part of it is I don't know, I think that I've been thinking about it, like why is it not working? I think part of it is maybe the art there, it's not dynamic enough. I know it's like Stardew is not super dynamic art either, but at least there's a bit more emotions at times, be a little more over the top. Like all the portraits are pretty much static except for like eyes changing and the occasional blushing, excuse me.
Hmm.
Um, so ah, yeah, they're kind of weak. Um, have you grown attached to anyone at all, Cody?
Yeah, so I think there's one character that I have five flowers with. They're flowers.
Mm-hmm.
So if they are a romanceable character, their little flowers are pink, and if they are non-romanceable, they're little flowers. The flowers like show you how much you know them,
Yeah,
and how much you've interacted with them and everything.
yeah,
And non-romanceables are going to be yellow. And
yep.
I actually here owe you an apology. One of the first conversations we had, you said that the romanceable characters were really weak and that all of the ones that are interesting and are characters that you might want to romance are like
Married
unavailable.
ones.
Yeah,
You
they're the
know,
married ones or the unavailable ones or what have you. And I was like, no, there's some good ones. And after I was like, no, you're silly. I played the game again and realized that the characters that I was thinking of are not romanceable. So, because I really liked Oka, who's Wolf Mom.
Wolf Mom's the
Wolf
best.
Mom.
I wanted to date her. It's like, no,
And
she's
then I really liked Reese, who's the artist,
Reese is cute. I like
also
Reese.
taken. And then I was like, okay, but what about Acre, who's the like cool lady, also taken. So I was like,
That's
what the heck? And then from the ones that are available as romanceable characters, here in the Pacha clan, they say there's Era, who I genuinely don't remember this human.
Ada, the little kid.
No,
Who?
Era,
Spell it.
ERA. She
ERA.
enters the new lands of the Pachin clan on the 2nd of summer in year 1 with Nari and Zelk. She comes in.
Her. Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Didn't really,
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. Like she's just blah.
Is she really? She likes spicy food.
Yeah.
That's it.
So I don't know. There's Frere, he's the fisher guy, and he's just like not very confident and he's like a little shy.
Oh, he's got a backstory though. I just learned about his backstory.
Oh
Oh man.
no. Oh no. I'm gonna have
Do you
to.
want me to tell you or do you want to find
No,
out on
I
your
want
own?
to find out on my own.
Okay. That was woof. Woof, that
Um,
was one. I didn't expect that.
I really like Garrick. Garrick is who I'm currently going for. Garrick is kind of like the thinker of the clan. And he's
I
kind
feel
of like
so bad.
always
I
off
think
on his own.
I feel so bad because they give you an introduction, like to every character when you talk to them for the first time, and Garrick is like he's the one who thinks. It just sounded so goofy. But no, he's a smart cookie. He's thinking of science before science is invented.
Hmm.
Also, he does the Gangnam style horsey dance.
Yep. I I tweeted Roots of Pacha and I was like, does Garrick does Gangnam Style? And they were like, yep. And he ends it with I call that Garrick style whenever he dances.
Yeah.
Iban, who she seems like the pretty girl, like I don't know, and she's always talking about Gelrod, who's like
Yeah,
the
her
pretty
brother.
boy. Oh,
Well, okay, so
I
I've
thought that
talked
they
to
were. I
no,
thought okay, my bad.
no, okay. Ebon, like she seems like the pretty girl because she's blonde and pigtails and whatnot. But so here's the thing: Gelrod is basically Gaston. No one makes music like Gelrod. No one hunts like Gelrod.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, and then is this guy's little sister, so she's just forever in his shadow, and that's her whole deal. Um, I like Ebon. She's not blonde ditzy. She's got some stuff. She's also a
Okay.
mad drummer. Sick.
Yeah. There's Iloe, who she kind of helps the heal. She's apprentice healer, so she's with the elder who is kind of like she helps the healer, the elder who is the healer. But pretty, and I like kind of started talking to her, but then she pretty frequently once you start talking to her, she talks about Frere a lot, and she like says that she used to be friends with Frere and how much she likes Frere. Like, not like loves Frere, but like she just like mentions him a lot.
Well,
And so
it's
I
like
was,
Stardew, where they kind of have partners if you don't
yeah.
take them. It's that
And
kind
so
of
I
thing. Yeah.
was like, okay, I'll just let you do your thing. And so I was like,
No,
I'm not
stop
gonna
it.
step.
Stop it. Interrupt it. You
No,
Frere
I'm
can't
good.
have her.
I'm good. I'm gonna go for Garrick. Um, and then there's Juk. I don't know how you say. He's also a clothing maker. Um, and yeah, that's about
That's
it.
his thing.
That's it. And then Mana, who again, this is someone I forgot. Oh, she's the son of the leader. Daughter of the leader.
And she's Girl Scout super cadet. She's
Yeah.
gonna be the leader one day.
There are other clans, like as you open up areas, there are other clans as well. And there's one romanceable person from the Beach clan and two from the Savannah clan. But meh. They're all pretty meh.
They're all pretty meh. Okay, so
But I don't know. I don't think it's frustrating because I don't think they're meh because they're not interesting. I just haven't had a reason to talk to them unless like you of your own volition go and talk to them.
yes, no, absolutely,
And so that's
absolutely.
like I'm sure that they all have amazing backstories and all or tragic backstories. And they probably all have their own personalities and stuff, but like some of these people I just have had no reason to talk to them.
Yeah, no, no,
And
that's super fair. I am notoriously a person who enjoys characters. Like, I think characters are my favorite thing of almost any media. Right. So I go out of my way because I like to learn about the characters and meet them and whatnot. So think they're a little weak, and like I said, in the writing and stuff like that. They're not bad. They're not awful. They just need to stand out from each other a little more. Um, yeah, again, I'm this is just armchair game
Mhm.
writing or whatever, but yeah, I don't dislike any of the, well, no, some of them I think are meant to be disliked, like Joe Rod. Um, but it's fine. It's not bad, but it could just use a little more, and it's tough too because of the setting, right? Like, it doesn't have the convenience of Stardew where you can have people with different jobs and varied histories and whatnot.
Mhm.
Everyone's kind of all going through the same thing in the clan, so you
Yeah.
know the so I feel a little for that. Uh, but who knows? I mean, they're like I mentioned, they're updating it, right? And I hope this is one of the areas they'll definitely
I
update.
think I think the biggest thing for me is that they so every now and then a character has an idea and you go to them and you like help them develop their idea, and it's always the non-romanceable characters that have the ideas, if I'm
Pretty much, yeah.
like for the most part. And so you other than so I mean I've on the day to day talking to people, I'm talking to a lot of the non-romanceable characters that, and that's why like I was excited about some of them because I was like, oh, like I really love Acre. Like when you dance with her, she says something like work hard but party hard too, or something, or play hard too, or
Yeah,
something like that. And it's
yeah.
just like, oh, that's so funny because she's such a hard worker. And she's always like, okay, like I'm gonna get back to work or whatever. Like if you try and
Yo,
talk to her, um,
so I want to say, well, oh, no, go ahead. You finish with your thought.
that was it. That's all
Okay.
good.
I have to give a little story here. Like, when I first played Stardew, the first person you meet is Robin, or the lady who sells you your place and does your upgrades, if I
Hmm.
recall, right? And I thought like, oh, I like this lady. I heard you can date people. I think I want to date her. And then I find out I can't date her. The very first person I took interest
Yeah.
in. In this game, Acre is one of the first people you talk to. And guess what?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to date.
Yeah.
And no, no, I can't. So even there, they replicated the Stardew feeling.
Can't rock the
Um,
boat.
oh, not yet, Al, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, Wolf Mom's the best. She's just flat out the best.
I do really like Took as well. Sorry, Took is from the Mograni clan and he's just a himbo.
He's a himbo. He looks like handsome Squidward or Giga Chad me.
He
Is that
is
face?
super Giga Chad, but or yeah, like the handsome Squidward with the 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is just so sweet and like doesn't really he just there's not a thought between those eyes, but he
There's
is he is a sweetheart.
he's
Um,
Took's very amusing. He
mhm.
likes baby animals. He's like, oh, I'm tough, but nobody can see that I have this baby pig that I love.
Yeah. But yeah, like
uh,
as you basically become friends with them from talking to them, After knowing them for enough time, you can dance with them, and they all have their own individual dances.
It's
And
great.
then you can give them gifts as well. But the problem that I have come to is some like they I have no way of knowing what gift they want. And I guess Stardew is this way as well. Like
Yep.
there's no way to know what someone's gonna like or what they're not gonna like,
Well, there kinda is. Guess
other
what? You
than
have to talk to characters and they'll tell you what other
ugh,
ones like.
ugh.
But yeah, but
Um,
no, in general, I know what you mean though. There's no way
yeah.
to keep track.
So
There's no
like,
in-game thing.
you
It keeps a
know,
record of what you give.
oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you go to their profile, and apparently Stardew has done this now.
Okay, good.
So I think this is just from Stardew, but yeah, if you give a gift and it and then you can go to their profile and it takes a record. You gave this gift and this was their response. So
Yeah,
you can
because
just trial and error.
Garrick will say if he sorry, excuse me, if he doesn't like it, he says, "I don't see the point of this," or something like that. Like this has no
Yeah.
use. And then if he likes it, he'll say something like, "This is somewhat interesting." And I found that with food, he says this is somewhat interesting a lot. So I don't know what the heck he wants
I
because I've given him gatherables and he's always like meh.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing I peeked at the wiki to look up the likes and dislikes for a few of them. It's kind of all over the place. It's hard to tell.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it's not like well, okay, like what's her name? Arrow. There's a girl who likes spicy food. Well, you give her something spicy, she'll probably like it. But
yeah,
Acre, for instance, likes metals because she works with them or whatever.
yeah.
But by and large, I agree. It's kind of all over the place, and it's kind of guess and check or whatever.
So I guess we've talked about romanceable characters. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 flowers with Garrick, and that's my
Mhm.
top. What about you? Have you romanced?
I am romancing three people at
Oh
once,
my gosh.
which is more than I have done in my real life dating all combined.
No. So what does that mean you're romance like do you get to a
Okay.
point where you're actually dating them?
Yes. So once you hit, I think it's like 6 flowers, you can do what's called a hangout with them, and they'll say like, "Okay, do you want to date?" And you can say yes or no. Um, yeah, and
And you said
then
yes to 3 different people.
yes, I did.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I never said we were exclusive with anyone.
Didn't define the relationship. You're over there breaking hearts, my goodness.
I'm
So who is
actually
it? Who is it?
well, I'm doing it because I'm feeling them out. I need so Ebon was the first one I
Mm-hmm.
got to know. Um, and she's the farthest along.
Okay.
What's her name? Mana, the village leader. She's kind of
Yep.
cool, so I talked to her. And bless you. Vala, is her name? I believe Vala.
Oh, yep.
She is Took's sister from
Yep.
the Savannah tribe. She has heterochromia. Um,
Yep.
so yeah,
Very cool. Love that. Here for
yeah,
that.
yeah. You even like in her little overworld sprite, you can clearly see the heterochromia. So
Yeah.
she and yeah. So then so I'm getting to know them. I'm still deciding which one. One warning though. So if you max out the hearts like I have with Ebon, they'll ask you if you want to hang out. And I thought it was just another cutscene. And no, turns out that's the marriage scene. Either you accept the proposal or they break up with them. Um,
God.
so I had to restart that day because I was like, oh, I'm not ready for this commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't propose as you do in so many other Podcore games. There's no ring that you give. It's you
Okay.
hit that mark and you dive right in. I yeah, I haven't taken that step yet. I don't made my final decision. Um, but it's yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm someone who enjoys characters, right? So
Yeah.
even as meh as some of these characters have been, I have gotten to know them well enough to enjoy them a good bit. So I'm having fun and well, yeah.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say on characters
Yeah. I mean,
and the game. And
yeah,
I
I was
think
gonna
we,
say that pretty much covers everything without spoiling things.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, final thoughts, definitely recommend it, and we will
it's
keep you posted.
yeah,
If you
great
haven't
game. Go.
already got it, we will keep you posted on when it is available.
Yes, and I hope it's soon.
Hmm.
And if not, yeah, I'll say it. I'll be kind and courteous and say I hope it's soon, so people can buy it off the Steam page
Mm-hmm.
and are not forced to
Well, because
experience it.
right now they don't have any other way to like. It's not like, oh, it's also on Switch, or oh, it's also
No,
on, like, that
that's
was
one thing
it.
I'm wondering because I know they were planning for console releases, and
Uh-huh.
I don't know how slash when this will affect that.
I mean, I believe it's the same
Yeah, I'm
producer no
sure it
matter
is.
what. So,
Yep. So stay tuned, everyone.
yep.
But until then, just yeah, Roots of Pacha is good. When you can get it, get it.
Yep.
It's a solid buy.
Yep.
All right. And so, where can people find you on the internet, Cody?
I am on Twitter at Cody Mathis, just my name. I'm also on Instagram at Hiking Beagle, Beagle with BEE, Beagle, because I
Yeah.
have a beagle and I study bees. Yeah. What about you, Kev?
They can find me at Cooper Prez to see me retweet other funnier, more insightful people, or at Sprider Squared, where I have been making it. I just haven't been posting it, but I won't get to that.
Mhm.
Um, you can also follow the podcast at THS Pod on Twitter. Al is at Scottbot. He probably retweets everything there too.
Mhm.
You can go to harvestseason.club to see show notes, transcripts, links, where you can also provide feedback and all
Mhm.
of these places. Ask us questions, give comments. We like to hear about them. We had fun with that mailbag episode.
It
Give us more
was
ammo.
so much fun. Give us more questions, they don't have to be thought-provoking questions. And you could also say, like, I would like my question to be anonymous or something. Like, if you have a really
Yes.
goofy question,
Yes.
like, is a hot dog a sandwich or something, like, you
Yes.
could just say, please read this anonymously, and we will do so.
Or even
Um,
stories. It doesn't have to be a question. You can,
that's
if you want to
true.
talk about your experience with, I don't know, tell us about, I can't think of an example. Whatever. Tell us your funny story about how you're dating three people at once. And we'd love to hear about it and talk about it on the show.
Oh my god.
Um, and then, uh, aside from all that, you can also find us at patreon.com/THS pod,
Hmm.
where you can get access to our Slack, a lovely community where you can have like more real-time chats and fun conversations, like
Hmm.
some of the ones we brought up today, that Cody mentioned.
Hmm.
um and you can also get access to our bonus podcast, The Greenhouse, where we have all sorts of non-cottage core content. Guess what? Cody and Al are talking about Eurovision because that's a thing that's going on, and
It's
that's
Eurovision time, baby.
yeah, woo. So go listen to that. I actually haven't listened to that one. I need to go to because I remember like I think Al did it with you the very first time, and that was a really
Hmm.
really good one.
Yeah, so
Um,
we did it 2 years ago, and in that
yeah,
one,
that
I
one.
had never listened to Eurovision before, didn't even know what Eurovision was, and so that episode on the Greenhouse, and if you do subscribe at patreon.com/THS pod, you'll get access to all of the Greenhouses, so you can go back and listen to the 2 years ago
Yeah,
Greenhouse where he explains Eurovision to me and has me watch
yeah,
Eurovision
yeah.
videos.
And most of
Um,
those episodes are not news heavy, so they're just as good
yep.
as they were 2 years ago.
Yeah. And then so last year we just did our reaction. So we said like what bands we liked, who we wanted to win, and then we did a reaction to the actual like finalist. Same this year. So we about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, we recorded one that was like, this is who we like, this is what's going on, and we did that before the semifinals, and then after the finals and after the winner was announced, we did a reaction podcast where we talked about that and how upset we were. So yeah,
Until next, well, that's it.
yeah,
Good.
that's
That's a
it.
show.
So
All
yeah,
right.
thank you, Kevin, for joining me for this, and thanks for playing this game with me. It was super fun.
It was super fun. Thank you, Cody, as well.
Hmm.
Thank you, Al, for giving us the reins for this episode.
Hmm.
I hope he enjoys this episode. He said he's actually going to listen to us to see if he plays the game or not. So go play the game, Al.
Oh, well, let's see.
But until next time, dearest listeners,
Have a
have a good
good
harvest.
harvest.
Woo!
Woo, we did it. Boop. I'm going to hit record